writer. Writing books is my profession.
I am an author, and I love to write book. That's my work.
But it's more than that, of course. It is also my great lifelong love and fascination.
And it's more than a job, it's what I love to do.
And I don't expect that that's ever going to change. But that said,
and I think that will be always that case.
Something kind of peculiar has happened recently in my life and in my career, which has caused me to have to sort of recalibrate my whole relationship with this work.
But I had recently to review my whole relationship because something happened in my career recently.
And the peculiar thing is that I recently wrote this book, this memoir called Eat, Pray, Love.
And that's because I wrote a book recently, a book called Eat, Pray, Love.
Which, decidedly unlike any of my previous books, went out in the world for some reason and became this big mega sensation, international bestseller thing.
Which, at the difference of many of my other books, became a very huge success.
The result of which is that everywhere I go now, people treat me like I'm doomed. Seriously.
And as a result, now everywhere I go, people considered me as if I was finished.
Doomed. Like, they come up to me now like all worried and they say, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid you're never going to be able to top that?
People considered me as if I was it was over, and they asked me, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that you won't be able to do that again?
Aren't you afraid you're going to keep writing for your whole life and you're never again going to create a book that anybody in the world cares about at all?
And that's terrible. Finally, you got success, but you won't be able to repeat it. You will always be writing and not having success now.
Ever again. So that's reassuring, but it would be worse, except for that I happen to remember that over 20 years ago, when I first started telling people when I was a teenager that I wanted to be a writer, I was met with this same kind of sort of fear-based reaction,
and so the people in their reaction inspire me fear, and that reminds me that when I was a teenager, I had the same kind of experiences.
People would say, aren't you afraid you're never going to have any success? Aren't you afraid the humiliation of rejection?
And so if I said when I was younger that I would be a writer, people were skeptical and were thinking, you will never have any success, you will waste your life.
Will kill you. Aren't you afraid that you're going to work your whole life at this craft and nothing's ever going to come of it and you're going to die on a scrap heap of broken dreams with your mouth?
So you will probably waste your life and have depressions and start different failing attempts.
Filled with bitter ash of failure. Like that, and the short answer to all those questions is yes.
And they were always asking me, are you really trying to do that? And aren't you afraid? And I have to say, yes, I was afraid, and I'm still afraid.